Hello, welcome to my home. If you're new here, my name is Karen. I'm getting through my morning routine and then I'm going to head outside and get going on some DIY projects. I'm actually going to work on painting some trim today. I've been really looking forward to getting to that. I'm really motivated to do more and more DIYs. I also thought I would share a little bit with you about how we bought this house and how long we've been here and all the good stuff. Alright, we're coming down to the basement to get the painting stuff that I didn't get to yesterday. So I am determined to get to today. So I'm going to do it first, even though it's already like 10:30. Here's the paint shelf. So this right here, storm coat. Must be exterior. Yes, exterior paint. So we're going to use this. Hopefully it's still good. Then here is my paint supplies. I'm going to take out this. Maybe that would help me get off some of the crud. And then I have 2 paint brushes. Probably neither one of them's the right kind. What does that say? Designed for all paints and stains. Sold. So we'll use that. Anything else that might be helpful? Oh, a stirrer. That'd be nice. All right, I'm going to bring this up and outside. What I am painting, well, around my front door is trim work that needs to be replaced. So I'm not concerned about chipping paint. I'm just going to try to make it look better for now and paint over whatever crud is there. So it's really not the advisable way to do it. I'm sure it's the wrong way to do it, but it is the way I'm going to do it because I just want to make it look nicer because I can't replace it now. Robin needs to focus on the upstairs bathroom. I was hoping I'm going to hit it with this. I don't have a ton left, but I feel like I have enough that I could get through just scrubbing the sides so that I'm not at least painting over dirt. Just so you know, the Dawn was absolutely useless. But I did get, dirt off with some all-purpose cleaner and just having it be wet, got some dirt off and some little flakes of paint. And so that was pretty important. We've already replaced this once, but our house doesn't have a proper overhang, so we get way too much rain on all of our trim work.
I know, I'm sorry, Leo, you can't come home. It makes me feel so guilty. Sorry, Leo.
Leo always loves to be a part of the action, as I'm sure you've noticed in my past videos. He is just always wanting to know what everybody's doing. He wants to be with you. He never plays alone. He loves to play, but he insists on someone playing with him.
Definitely not as good as Joe Max, this Dawn Power Wash, but I got it good enough to do this. I'll have to get my stool out to get up there. I'm not tall enough. I'm gonna make all the spiders mad. All right, found my stool. It took me a minute. Took me several minutes. I'm also I got out my headphones. Definitely helps me to listen to somebody chatty.
We actually were supposed to sell our previous home on 9/11. And of course, today is September 12th. If you're watching it the day it goes up. So yesterday was 9/11. And we couldn't figure out why we weren't hearing from our realtor that day. She was supposed to drop the sign off. And it was because she was trying to find out if someone in her immediate family had been in the Twin Towers because that's where he worked, but it turned out that he did not work that day and he was home, but she couldn't get through because, of course, cell phone use just wasn't even possible. There just was so much going on. So what a devastating day. My thoughts and prayers for all those who are affected and are still affected to this day. Such a sad time. And that was such a crazy time for us. We actually sold that house in 5 days. It was this little tiny 750 square foot house. Needed a lot of work, but it was just perfect for someone. The market in real estate was just going lightning fast at the time.
All right, it feels good, so hopefully it'll paint as well as it feels. Also, if you know you're going to paint, store your paint upside down if it's sealed well, and then when you turn it right side up, it kind of naturally stirs, and that really helps. I did not do that.
We had done a lot of work to our old home and especially getting it ready to sell, but it was built in like 1911 or 1901 or something like that. It just had a lot, when you open up anything in an old house, you just never know what you're going to find. This house was built, I believe, in 1987. And we had sworn that we were not going to buy another fixer-upper. But then you get looking, and the market seemed high at the time compared to where it is now. That was nothing. But this was also very much a fixer-upper. Still, honestly, is. I always say we bought a fixer-upper and we're still fixing her up. But the market was running super fast. This was actually the biggest house we could find for the money and having nice big bedrooms. And I remember walking through, and we had 3 kids at the time. And I said to my husband, "Do you realize how many kids I could fit in this house?" And little did I know we would end up having 7 children to put in this house. So the yellow that you see on the outside of the house is a stain, and this is the original color of the house. It's what it was when we moved into it, but there was so much going on inside that needed to be fixed.
All right, this isn't going to work. I need to get something to pour this into so I'm not up and down so many times. It's been so long.
I'm not sure why I thought I could paint directly from the paint can. That was really pretty silly. So I'm just using one of my Rubbermaids to put paint in, and that will work just fine. So back to when we moved into the house. We bought the house. Like I said, the market was going super fast. So we sold our house the second week of September, and we were in this house in November. And I remember my friends coming to help us move in, and my girlfriend's helping me scrub the house. And I honestly have never seen such dirt. I mean, I'm sure I could probably find something worse, but what I was cleaning off in the bathroom on the wall, I don't even want to talk about. So we just went from top to bottom and scrubbed this house and disinfected it. It was very strange, the situation. It was actually being rented, and the owner had gone through a divorce, and she was really concerned that her renters were ruining the house, and she felt like she needed to get out from under it. So we got a really good price. In fact, during the closing, she's saying to her realtor, "I should have charged more. I should have charged more," because the market was going so fast. Honestly, she probably could have gotten more. And the realtor was reminding her, "But you said you wanted to sell it quickly." And she just was really trying to encourage her. And they also were like, "We just want you to know, we think the first thing that you need to do is change the locks and get new locks and new keys because they did not trust the person who was renting it. There were some very odd things, the blue room, well, we call it the blue room. It's the 3-season porch that used to be my office. There's no second floor on top of that. And there was a bedroll up there. Someone had been sleeping on that roof. The phone line was disconnected and connected directly to the box outside. So I'm not quite sure what was going on there. I remember when we walked through the home, the person who was renting complained that we had gotten stuff on the floor, which honestly I know wasn't true. It just was a very odd situation and sad at the same time because there were kids here. And I remember the refrigerator was closed with duct tape. There was standing water in the dishwasher, which we thought the dishwasher was broken because the water was like all moldy, but actually it was fine. And we drained the water and we disinfected the dishwasher, and we used that dishwasher for years. Besides the nice large bedrooms that are upstairs, I also loved the woodwork of this house. And I love the fact that it's across the street from a lake. It's a small lake, but it's been a great place to raise our kids. They had a couple of playgrounds. They have 2 indoor pools and an outdoor pool, which you really don't see too often in Maine. We don't really have associations a whole lot here. The association fee was definitely something to get rid of, or not get rid of. Yeah, that would be nice. Something to get used to because it's not something we have very commonly here in Maine. Deed restrictions are also something that's not super common, so we have to get permission whenever we cut down trees. So there are a few things, but it's not like one of those associations where you have to edge your lawn or do anything special like that. That's just not part of Maine culture. People don't really get that deeply into their lawn, which is a good thing because pine needles, my goodness, the pine needles and all of the acid that puts in my soil, and the fact that I'm on lake dirt really does affect how easy it is to grow anything, including grass. Just look, just by giving this a coat of paint, even though it needs technically to be replaced because I can see down here some dry rot forming, the difference between the left and the right is night and day from paint that I had sitting in my basement. So some cheap exterior white that I got at Valspar, and my front door, to me, already looks so much better. All right, the hair's up. I got some new gloves, so I'm getting white paint all over my camera. So I'm gonna do this side now. Super encouraged by how this looks. I don't love getting on the stool, but I'm gonna be quick. I'm looking for things to hold on to. I actually do love doing DIY projects, so it's been really great that I can move around better after losing weight and getting my health back. It has been such a blessing.
I just got the first strip of my shirt.
A couple of big challenges we've had since we moved in here is that there was a puff back with the furnace, which makes a mess on your paint. And also the previous renter was a smoker, so getting rid of that smell was so hard. The earliest project was painting the walls, and honestly, from the damage of the puff back, when your furnace kind of backs up and smoke goes through the whole house, the really only way to get rid of that on your walls is to paint them. I tried washing them and scrubbing them down, but really it just kind of moved smoke around and made it worse, because at least when it was all covered with the soot, it made this fine, color discoloration, and it was all even. But once I started to try to clean it, it just made it worse. And then after we did all of the painting, then eventually when we saved up enough money, we were able to start ripping out carpeting. And that was several years after we moved in. So I was always battling that cigarette smoke coming back up out of those carpets. It didn't really matter how much you shampooed them. Once that cigarette smoke gets in, oh my goodness, it is so hard to get rid of.
Going looking back up and seeing little spots I might have missed, or where a nail needed to be filled more. I might need to get some nail fill, actually.
I enjoy painting, but 18 years ago, I herniated 2 discs in my back, so there was the end of my painting. And I always blamed not being able to do those things completely on my back, but now that I've lost weight, I realize that that was a large part of it, because I did this painting that day, and you can see me bending over multiple times, and my back wasn't even sore at the end of the day, and this would have never happened before.
So since we have lived here since 2001, every room has been painted, most rooms more than once. All of the flooring has been replaced, and maple flooring was what we put down first in the downstairs, and a lot of that needs to be sanded down and refinished. We also had to replace both of the glass sliders that are in the three-season porch, as well as the door and window. All of the windows in our house have been replaced. All of the doors have been replaced. And there's a lot of times over the years, things take so long and you can't do it all at once. So it feels like nothing's getting done. But then when you look back on it, you realize, wow, we have actually done a lot. And then, of course, a few years back, we redid the kitchen completely. So that was just a huge undertaking. And now we're ready to go upstairs and replace that bathroom.
I probably need like Jomax mildew remover down here, but I'm going to see what will come up. Definitely the Dawn was useless. And just reminding myself, this is about making it better than it was. This is not about, there's some long-term solutions that I needed. I'm assuming there's some sealer in this paint I'm using. So I am going to go ahead and see what I can reach. I'm at least getting any loose dirt off. I am getting some dirt off, but it's just bad.
I just have to add, this brush must have been really good because I can't usually paint this straight. Usually I would get it all over that gold piece that you're seeing, and I was kind of shocked at myself being able to actually control where the paint is going. That's not typical for me.
All right, had some camera trouble, but we're back. And I'm re-looking at this. I'm just going over parts that aren't as dark. I gave up on the gloves because they weren't good enough, and so paint was getting through anyway. Robin is going to get to the top for me because I'm too chicken to use stairs. So what I'm asking him to do is like wipe it down first and then go over it with my weight paint. It is heckin' hot out here. No, don't do that. I got wet paint down here. Just wipe the front faceplate. You're not painting the top. I should have started there, but you weren't home. You know me, I don't wait.
Getting this front door painted, getting the trim done, oh my goodness, this was so encouraging to me. Honestly, every time I pulled up to my house, that's what I saw first. I just can't unsee certain things. So I am just so excited to be getting started on these things and to be able to work on my house and get some of these eyesores taken care of. Can you relate when you're a stay-at-home person? Boy, it is all you see.
Here is the after, and I honestly cannot get over how much better that looks, and that is just so satisfying. This is another issue where we did repairs years ago and we didn't use galvanized nails, so they rusted. So I'm going to try to, I don't know, clean off the rust and probably put something over the top of it like DAP or something that you can paint over, and then get out, it's actually a yellow stain, get out the stain and see if I can fix that up. I'm really trying to pay attention to these little details, and I just felt like, of course, fall is the perfect time to do some painting, so I hope to continue that throughout the fall. And it's just, you know, obviously the bathroom is like a big wow, a big change, but these little things throughout the house is where I really want to focus. It's more what I'm able to do as well, because then it's little projects, very much like the tiny tidies, just little projects, and you get it done in an hour, hour and a half, which I think of a tiny tidy as 15 minutes, but when you're talking DIY, I think that an hour, hour and a half is pretty reasonable. So I need to get some lunch, but what I might do, if it's not hotter, I might just get some of these windowsills, because you can see it's not like a big job to do. It's just all this chipping, and you know, I am not going to get this fixed. Like, I'm not going to sand this all the way down. I just want it to look better. So the goal is for things to look better than they did, and whatever happens from there, honestly, I don't know. But I feel like when you're standing far away, or even when you come up to the house, unless you're like really bending over to look, you're not going to notice these things. Let me know what you would do. Would you like tear it out and replace it, or would you do what I'm doing and just kind of scrape it down a little bit and then paint over it? Let me know. I had my lunch, and I'm going to show you, I got dirt all over the floor from my shoes. I should have taken my shoes off. Oh, these particular shoes I'm wearing, they have a really fine tread, and they're always leaving things behind. But it's hot out, so I want to bring the paint in because I'm going to clean up the house first, because I can see it's going to be a hot mess if I don't. I can't let the house go, because then it will drive me crazy. And then I might come back out. What I did was I took my paintbrush and I wrapped it in saran wrap, put it in the refrigerator, covered the little paint box I had, put saran wrap over that, put it in the fridge so that it will stay wet and it won't dry out, and then I can use it. So after lunch, or excuse me, no, after I clean the house, I'll take a little break, and then I'll just patch up these windowsills, and I think that will be good for today. This is where I sat for my lunch, and I left a little trail behind.
Morning has broken, my windows are open. Wanna feel the wind blow through my hair. Which way do I follow? What happens tomorrow? I turn to you and hope you can guide the way. Sometimes I give up, just wanna be on my own. Even in the darkest times, you give me hope. So I lean on you when I've lost my way. I keep holding on for a better day. I lean on you when the world's astray. I left my heart open so you hear my prayer. I left my heart open so you hear my prayer. In times that are changing and when hope is fading, I know I can turn to your embrace. 'Cause there's so much beauty under your heaven, and I'm grateful every day. Sometimes I give up, just wanna be on my own. Even in the darkest times, you give me hope. So I lean on you when I've lost my way. I keep holding on for a better day. I lean on you when the world's astray. I left my heart open so you hear my prayer. I left my heart open so you hear my prayer.
All right, there's too many people in there to film. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean this window, and then I'm gonna get the paint and finish up a little bit of trim work, and then maybe then I can sweep my kitchen floor.
I left my heart open so
As I said, we had our windows replaced. I think it was about a year ago. And I don't know what I was thinking, but I just assumed that when they replaced the window, they would replace all the trim around the window. I have such high expectations. When my husband replaces windows, of course, he always replaces the trim. And I don't know why I thought it all came in one big piece, that you'd like pulled the window out with the trim, and then the trim work was with the window that you put in. Honestly, oh, there's Yvonne. She's going off with teenagers. In fact, when you saw me chatting, it was because I was giving her like the 20 questions you give teenagers when they're going anywhere, of when are you going, when are you coming back, who are you with, all that good stuff. But anyways, so I have just been learning a lot about hiring people, because my husband always did all the work because we couldn't afford to hire people. So now when I hire people, I just am having to learn to ask a lot more questions so that I'm not disappointed when they leave and I see what they did and didn't do.
Don't you feel like when you're doing these things, then you're wondering, like, why didn't I do this before? This is really not a big deal. You know, you just get busy with other things. But once you get the supplies out, that's 90% of it. You get all the supplies and you get set up. The actual work is easy. I honestly think the setup is harder. Setup and cleanup. So when I'm done with what I'm doing today, if I'm going to be painting the next couple of days, then I would just put the paintbrush wrapped in saran wrap in the fridge. But if it's going to be a while, I have frozen them before. And I thaw them out, and that goes fine too. So, either way. I'm definitely making sure I have plenty of paint on the brush, because I do not want to do this. I don't want to do a second coat. So this is how we're going to roll. We're getting summer back. It's going to be in the upper 80s this week. The amazing thing is, often we'll have a hot September, but we can have a little, it doesn't stick around, but we can have our first snow mid-October. It's happened many, many months, or excuse me, years. And I know this because one of my daughters has a mid-October birthday, and it snowed on many of her birthday parties. We would do like outdoor games, and then it would end up snowing. So I always try to make sure the leaves are cleaned up by mid-October, but sometimes they haven't even all the way fallen yet. So that can be tough. That can be rough. I need to do this all the way around my house. My goal, I always get asked if we're going to downsize, if we're going to move. We're always talking about moving. We've been talking about it for years, and the timing has never been right. So my idea is you keep working on your house, and then either it's ready to sell or you like it enough to stay. Now I'm going to do these two windows and call it a day. But I am super happy with these. And I need to get this guy hung back up too.
Are you working on any fall DIY projects? Are you cleaning up outside? Are you doing any cleanup painting like I'm doing? Let me know in the comment section below. I would love to know what projects that you're taking on. I do this the same way I do the decluttering. It's bit by bit. Little bit by little bit. I don't take on huge projects at once. I really just can't anymore. And so I find, again, it's just like decluttering. If you do a little bit every time you get a chance and then put on the calendar when you're going to do it next time, oh my goodness, before you know it, you look back and you can't believe how much you got done. Next up, Yvonne and I will be doing some fall decorating in my next video.
This one is going to have to be replaced at some point. It is a mess. It's like crumbling in places. But sometimes I don't do anything because I can't do what I want to do. And I'm trying to stop that and do what I can, especially if I have the materials in the house and I'm not having to go out and buy anything. There's really no reason to, at least it's going to stop it from further rot. Until we can get to it, hopefully in the spring. But my first priority right now is that bathroom. But what often happens to me is I procrastinate the fall painting, and then I'm going to do it in the spring and I don't do it then, and it never happens. So even though I have a lot of indoor things I want to do, I'm recognizing I have all winter to work inside. But I live in Maine, and you never know how long you have to work out. Like, I should be doing this with the air conditioner out, and I might do it again. We'll see. But if not, I've at least done some of it. Maybe this will be the How Not to DIY series. Who knows? It's okay, though. If it is, it is. Don't do what I do. Or maybe it's real life decluttering. Or no, that's what I usually am. Real life DIY, where I'm usually real life decluttering. So some people have said they're sad that I'm almost done with my basement, which I 100% understand. You want to see me decluttering a mess, so I will just be on the hunt for other messes, other people. I'm going to help other people with their messes because I've already done it, so I'll just help them to do what I already did. Now I'm just using up some paint. The bottoms of this trim work is not good.
There will be much more cleaning, decluttering, decorating, and DIY projects to come. So if you like that sort of thing, subscribe and click on that notification bell.
I know other people do this, just painting over all the chips and the bumps, because I've looked at other houses. We're house hunting, and I saw it. We'll call it Stop the Rot DIY. Oh,
I hope me showing myself tackling my projects helps you to tackle your own. I'll put our last outdoor cleanup video up in the upper left corner if you missed that, and I'll meet you over there. Remember, as always, God loves you, and I love you too, and I can't wait to see you next time.